sure if you read in the paper and you know what's going on, I'll bring this up, the Churchill Fire Department. We actually met with the chief of police and the chief of the fire department at Phipps Bend back a couple of months ago, I guess, and they were telling us about and actually gave us a printout of how many calls they had had and that the cost of doing business had gone up. And at that time, those of us that met with them were supportive of them. Let me give you a little historical perspective to this thing. When Churchill came to be the principal fire department servicing the Phipps Bend, that was in 2008. And prior to that, we'd had maybe a couple of different ones, but for a long time we had Rogersville. And after a fire there, they were informed by their insurance company that they could no longer do that, anything outside the city limits. So we didn't have a real good solution to that. So Churchill has bent over backwards to work with us on this thing, and in 2008 they agreed that they would be on call for Phipps Bend to be the first on call. Now, all the fire departments in the county have reciprocating agreements to come in when there's a massive fire of any kind, anywhere. And so they do the same thing there, but to be the first responder, and as close as Churchill was, it was agreed at that time that they would be paid $5,000 a quarter or $20,000 a year. That has not changed now in the last 15 years that they've been doing that. And so we agreed as a group, but as I told them, we don't have the purse strings. That's between them and the county commission. And yesterday I was informed by Rebecca that the Board of Mayor and Alderman had met and
the commission met. The commission met. Or the Board of Mayor and Alderman. Okay,
Churchill. The Board of Mayor and Alderman had met and decided that they would pull out of their agreement, but they gave us 6 months, thank goodness, so as not to leave us in a lurch. I don't know, as I told both the principals there from Churchill, and I understand where they're coming from, they need more money. I don't know, Mark, did anyone from the county meet with them, the county commissioners that oversees this thing?
They had their police chief, safety officer, and their fire chief at one of the budget hearings and explained what was going on. The general consensus was that's way too much money. And there were some thoughts, and don't shoot the messenger, people that are watching or whatever, but there was some discussion on why the county would have to pay to cover something that was a management decision of the Churchill Fire Department and Churchill BMA. They, of course, voted to pay everyone who responds to an alarm time and a half at a 4-hour minimum. Whether they just crank the car and head that way and get signal 9 on the radio and go back home, they get 4.5 hours worth of pay. And that was a decision made by the BMA. It's costing them a lot more because of that. And of course their whole anybody who works for the city government is on the fire department for Churchill. So anybody city government gets paid 4.5 hours at time, 4 hours at time and a half. I think I said 4.5 hours, but it's 4 hours at time and a half.
6 hours paid, basically.
6 hours pay.
Equivalent 6 hours.
Yes. Whether they actually get to a fire or they don't. And then the people who drive the trucks get more than that. I can't remember exactly what, because they have to fill the truck. That takes some time going back with the truck and fill it up and things like that. So that's kind of what the commission's thinking. So right now, the commission doesn't want to pay them, so that's their decision.
The problem, I guess, that presents to us as industrial board and then also as the Phipps Bend joint venture is, you know, we didn't put anything, we didn't ask for an increase, by the way, of the county commission this year for anything. Last year, we only asked for $5,000 worth of gravel additional. Nobody's called me to see what my thoughts are on it or anything. So it's rather frustrating when we kind of get caught in the middle. The county gets all of the tax dollars off the revenue and then the payroll and everything that goes through. I don't know how you deal with that. You know, you got two governments here and we're caught in the middle on the deal.
Well, there was also the issue of lots of false alarms that they responded to, of course, got paid. And if I'm right, correct me if I'm not, you asked for a list of companies that were responsible for much of the false alarms, and we never got one. So
Yeah, they actually.
I think we also asked for a list of actual expenses, which they
Yes.
provided
Right.
based off the budget.
right.
Whether we spent money or not.
I guess my thoughts are, I would hope that we would be able to sit down with somebody that, you know, it's hard for me to negotiate when I don't have any ability to, you know, I don't have the purse. Somebody that's in charge, I guess the budget committee, or is there a committee of the county government that deals with fire departments,
Public safety.
safety?
Public safety.
Somebody from that group needs to sit down with them because we can't run an industrial park without fire protection. And,
Well, those people talk to the budget committee, and you know, basically the line would be, let's go to the public safety committee, and they would recommend something to the budget committee, and the budget committee would put it in front of the whole commission. But they talked to the budget committee, and there was not a real warm reception. We've got the budget in final format to be approved in June. So.
Was Churchill wanting an increase?
They want $30,000 extra to cover the
Extra over and above what?
over and above what they already get. Yeah.
I don't think anyone would disagree with the fact that they need to be, the citizens of Church Hill basically don't need to have to pay for something that the entire county of Hawkins benefits. And I understand that full well. And we have always worked very well with Church Hill and Mayor Deal. And, you know, they supply the sewer for Phipps Bend. And we've always had a good working relationship with them. And thank goodness they gave us 6 months to work out this problem. But somebody needs to take charge of the thing and figure something out, whether it's a $30,000 increase or a $10,000 increase, or step it off, or base it on the number of calls that they have to make, or something. I mean, there's got to be a way of solving this problem. They have a fire department just, I mean, a stone's throw from, you know, there at Alice Kilby, down to Phipps Bend is not far at all. Plus they've got the equipment. Their rating is good, which is beneficial to the industry inside Phipps Bend. It helps have a lower insurance rating for the industry there.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so that's been a real plus for us since they took over in 2008.
That was tossed around too, Larry, about the insurance rating. And, you know, they still don't really want to deal with it. You know, the good thing about Church Hill is they've got, the good thing and the bad thing is all the city employees are fire department people, and they can respond quicker than Sir Gwansville. And I just asked James Hammonds if he thought their insurance would cover in Sir Gwansville, and he's going to check on that. So I didn't realize that was an issue before.
Yeah, that's the reason they left. We had always had Sir Gwansville for the first, I don't know how many years, 10 or 15 years, but then they had a major fire over there, and they were, and I don't know if someone got injured, or I think someone
There was an
got
This
injured.
place burned off MIS, the powder mill burned up pretty good, and that's when they canceled the
And
insurance.
they told them, you no longer can go outside the city of Sir Gwansville, and so, we started, you know, everybody in the county was concerned, and I think Carter's Valley and maybe Stanley Valley both said they would cover it for a while, but then we worked this agreement out with Church Hill, which was, you know, the closest then.
Well, they also said that, you know, maybe we need to find out how much a better insurance rating is going to save these companies, and ask for part of that as a contribution toward the fire department. I don't know if that'll fly or not. That was not my idea. That came from somewhere else. But anybody that responds to that, if it's bad enough fire, they're going to call for mutual aid. And if Sir Gwansville is the main one and they call for mutual aid, Church Hill will probably come. So,
That's true.
Larry, organizationally, a problem like this, where did that buck stop? Somebody needs to fix it. Somebody never solved the problem ever. It takes a person to do that. Somebody, where does that fall? That's all I have to.
Well, basically, as I've said before, it's very difficult to negotiate when you don't have the power to levy fees and things, so it can't rely on us. We depend as an industrial board and as the Phipps Bend joint venture, we depend on Houston Electric to supply electricity and do what needs to be done down there for that. We rely on the gas company to do the same thing. We rely on Church Hill to supply sewer, Sir Gwansville for the water, and we have no power.
And I understand, you know, that's clear, I understand that, but that responsibility for solving this problem falls somewhere organizationally. Where does that fall?
I would imagine it'd be the county commission.
I just wanted you to say that.
Oh, yeah, they're gonna have to settle the issue, or, you know, like I say, it's very difficult to recruit industry if you don't have fire protection, number one. Number two, just in the last few months, we've announced 2 or 3 new industries up there, and one of them being the battery energy storage system that is being worked on now, I guess, between TVA and Tenaska. You certainly need, and we've got all the ample fire protection up there as far as water. You know, we've got a 750,000 gallon tank, we've got the fire hydrants, we've got all that. Tenaska, you know, when we had the safety guy come in with them, advised us that he would train and work with the fire departments so everybody feels safe with this situation.
It doesn't mean anything, but I spent probably the last 20 years of my working life siting plants. We would never consider siting a plant where we didn't have adequate fire protection. We wouldn't have done it. And we invested hundreds of millions, but we would have never done it. It's a requirement.
Well, that's, and I almost a given that if you're gonna invest $100 million, you wanna make sure it doesn't burn up.
That would kill the project instantly.
Let me suggest this, Larry. The budget committee always meets a week before the commission meeting. So the next budget committee meeting is Monday the 17th at 3:30 at the administration building. If you or someone from the industrial board, anybody that wants to come, and we can invite the Churchill folks again, that's where you can have a discussion with the people who really make the decision. We can put that on the agenda and have that. And you're all making good points, and I've tried to make the same ones, but sometimes.
Well, to fix the problem, you have to have money to fix the problem.
Know what you've got is two sides that just bucked up, and neither one of them's in negotiation, there's give and take. Both sides are giving something and taking something. So this is where
That's what I'm saying.
you've got to.
We'll certainly look into it, and we can, like I say, we've met with them, but and it may take some, give and take, as Orr said, on both sides.
Well, I would suggest if we're going to have this meeting, they need to provide the information that you asked for.
Right.
And then we need to provide the information we've gathered from this room and talk to them about it. If they have, well, I'll just stop right there.
Well, it's hard to say that I tell you I need X amount of dollars and I don't bring any justification for why I need it.
They had a
it's hard
sheet.
to argue with facts if you lay them out there.
We've got the sheet.
They had a sheet, but even the numbers on that sheet don't really add up to 30,000.
That's what I'm saying. They were just throwing numbers out there,
Yeah.
hoping something sticks on the wall.
Yeah.
No.
We talked in that one meeting too, if we could maybe negotiate that and stair-step that up over a so many year period, maybe a $10,000 increase this year and then a $10,000 increase, just kind of slow instead of hitting it all at once. But, the big picture is obviously these industries, they come in, they pay big tax dollars. Not like my house in Churchill, but they pay big tax dollars.
Well, clearly, it's in the
Which
interest
covers.
of all parties that we have to be resolved.
Exactly, it's in the best interest
Whoever
of
it is
everybody.
needs to be, has to be resolved.
Hey Larry, was there any increase in the cost of the fire department due to the battery training? Was there any new equipment or anything like that they needed to support the battery
No, I don't
operation?
think so.
Okay.
Not yet anyway, right?
That's not taking place yet, though.
Yeah, I don't
Pardon?
That hasn't taken place yet.
Right. I just wondered if that was
wheel.
another.
I think
That guy said it was training, only training.
One of the reasons why they're.
No, I have no idea. It was just a question. I was just thinking.
Not that I'm aware of, like I say, any of those, any of our projects up there, the industries, require fire protection, and I mean, that's just a given. If you're gonna have an industrial park, you gotta provide certain things, and we do that. We supply all the utilities to the property line, and probably several things over and above what we've even talked about that we provide, but you just have to do those things. So,
I like what Jeremy was saying though. If you could tie it to escalate it, even based on new industry coming in,
Right.
because you can assume new industry is just going to potentially increase the number of calls, that sort of thing. If you could work out a proposal like that, it might be a little bit of a give and take on
Yeah.
both sides.
Well, certainly, as I mentioned, if that battery energy storage system comes in, I estimated myself to bring in over $20 million of new tax revenue. If we get it. So the first year is over $2 million. So that kind of solves its own problem if they're willing to share with that. But you may be looking at 2 or 3 years down the road. It's not going to solve the problem today.
I feel like the budget committee, if this was in place now, they would say, "Oh, no big deal." Right? I mean, there's $2
You don't
million.
know.
extra this year, but it's
I'm not
kind
gonna
of.
predict anything. But
Well, I mean, I guess I'm just thinking they're having to look at it as, hey, we're going to make an investment for 3 or 4 years down the road from now. You know, it's what might cost me $90,000 over the next 3 years. We'll get back with $2 million worth of tax revenue. You know.
I guess one of the other questions is, they alluded to there was a lot of calls made. Did they ever identify which industry was having all these calls? And why, was it a false call, or, you know, was an alarm system going off?
Yes,
It wasn't a
that's the
fault.
way I understand it.
That's kind of was the rumor,
Yeah.
that it was one company and they had a problem
I
with
think
their.
it's 2 companies that have operations that tend to set off their fire alarm.
And, you know, this is
Is that
something
what you got, Terry?
that needs to be worked out that industry so you don't have false alarms.
If
It's-
it tells who it is, that was my suggestion in the meeting we had, is that we would go to that industry and talk with them.
have some, you know, discussion. It's gonna,
It's
it's not just the fire department and the county, it's the residents also.
Right.
They have some skin in this game too.
It's probably one company.
We need to know those, who
Yeah.
they are and stuff, and so that never happened either, but.
Sure.
Anyway, we'll, if we can get the parties together and work this out, I think it'd be, like you said, to everybody's advantage.
Possible source.
What was the total again? They're receiving 20,000 a year now, and they've done that since 2008, and they're asking for how much increase?
30.
30 increase for a total of 50. Okay.